Hey, it's Dr. Fred of Elite Coaching, and here is the third very powerful communication tool for the perfect day one, day two that completely accelerates learning and drives that information into an experience. Hey, look at my gray hair. Into experience, into their subconscious mind. And what is that? Using metaphors or analogies. Now, why is this so important? Because when we say something is like something, and that other something is what they're familiar with, then it automatically creates a bridge, associates these two, and takes something that's unfamiliar and makes it very familiar into a new experience. Now it's not information. It's an experience where you wire it into their subconscious mind. So let's give you some examples. In the pre-consult, we say a subluxation. We say spinal cord is like a river. You could say it's like a fire hose. It's like a waterfall. Now notice, what am I doing? I'm using my body. I'm going to touch the brain. Brain sends energy down the spinal cord. It's like a river. It's like a fire hose. It's like a faucet that's turned wide open, pouring energy through all these nerves, all the organs in the body. Now here's the thing. What we do on the, not these training videos, but when you either go to the Perfect Day 1, Day 2 bootcamp or the event, Perfect Day 1, Day 2 experience, then what we show you is how to do all three at once. 1, how to get an agreement. 2, how to use your body. 3, how to use metaphors. So while you're saying the brain sends energy down the spinal cord, I'm nodding my head yes. Spinal cord is like a river, carries energy from the brain through all these nerves to each and every cell in the body. Each and every cell is dependent on that energy to keep you alive and healthy. Can you see why that is? Yes. Subluxation, it's a shift, right? Either an individual vertebrae or a whole region will shift out of place. Now, look what I do. I create that, I distort my posture, I create that shift. It's like a dimmer switch on a wall. Now I go to the autonomic nervous system chart, or I go to a spine. It shuts the energy down. That energy can't get through the nerves. What am I doing? And now the organs at the end of those nerves will continue to degenerate and cause disease. Now, notice how I'm doing all three at once. When you do all three at once, man, it is like stimulus overload. They get it like this. I mean, you're going to watch their whole face light up. Can you see how that would work? So then we go to the exam when you're shifting them. Hey, you have a left thoracic translation. You shift them. You walk around front. Here's pelvis. Here's thoracic gates. It's shifted like this. It's like a kink in a hose. What happens to the water when you kink a hose, right? So what do they say? It stops, right? Because we all know, we've all been kids where we kink the hose and then you unkink it and you squirt your friends or your sister, or in my case, your sister or whatever that was, right? Everybody knows what a kink on a hose, or stepping on a hose, or, everybody knows what that's like. Or it's like turning a faucet down, or it's like a dam in a river. Energy can't move through those nerves. So what would be another example? It could be a lateral flexion is a smash. What's that? It's like dropping a rock on your foot. Have you ever dropped anything unexpectedly really heavy on your foot? Like a rock or a weight? Yes, they immediately they drop a rock on their foot. What do they think? Oh my God, that hurts so much. Now they're associating not only the rock on their foot, but the experience they don't want, that's not only wired as a memory, it has an emotion that they absolutely do not want that to happen again. So you're neuro-emotionally wiring and associating those, and it changes the way they think. When we go to the report of findings and we show, here's a normal curve, here's yours. What do you see? Notice I'm using my body. What happens? Structure weakens, posture distorts. I use my body, and the spinal cord has to stretch to fit into that weak and distorted structure, like stretching a rubber band. Here we go. Here's an analogy. It's like stretching a rubber band. What happens when you stretch a rubber band? Does it get looser or tighter? It gets tighter. Does the diameter get thicker or thinner? It gets thinner. Well, that means the spinal cord has tension, nerves are getting smashed, energy can't move through there. And so we use analogies and metaphors. We have analogies and metaphors littered, all seated, all through the pre-consult, through the consult, through the exam, through the report of findings. While we're using our body, while we're touching them, while we're getting their agreements, while we're asking them questions, and it is such a tremendous experience. It's not that they learn so much, it's that they remember so much. And what do you hear all the time? That is the most thorough exam. Nobody's ever taken the time to explain that with me. Now, I'm sure that you get that. The question is, are you getting 9 out of 10 to stay with you for years? Because it may be why they sign up, but does it stay with them after the 40th visit, your PVA? Does it stay with them? Is the average patient staying for 50, 60, 70, 80 visits? Now, what's your PVA? You look at how many people a week you see on average divided by how many new patients you get. So you have 200 people a week, throwing numbers out, 5 new patients a week, 200 divided by 5 is 40. That means the average patient stays for 40 visits, which means if you're doing spinal correction, they'll stay for the first phase of care, re-x-ray, and then they'll quit. Now, I know you're going to say, well, there's people, they've been coming to me for years. I get it. How many? 10%? How many? When you look at all the patients that filled out the paperwork that walked into your clinic in the last only 3 years, what percentage of those are still with you? What percentage are still with you? Who's been there 5 years? That's what a PVA is. So we want you minimally at a 60 PVA up to a 90 and 100 PVA, only if you want lifestyle patients. So if we're going to create that, PVA is a mindset. We're going to create it so we change their mind so they automatically get neuroemotionally, neuroplastically wired for lifestyle, so that becomes a belief system. They're not buying a product or service. They believe differently. They want to live differently. And when you learn to master these powerful communication tools for the perfect day 1, day 2, multiple agreements, how to use your body and their body, how to use metaphors and analogies, just those 3 tools alone will massively change that patient experience from patient education into patient experience. Hey, thanks for watching these. I appreciate it. Go to the bootcamp page. Look at the elitecoachingllc.com website. Hey, we have lots of opportunities how you can learn this, because right now, in my belief, is the time in history when we need to create the most lifestyle patients, because the whole world is thirsting for an inside-out healthcare, not an outside-in healthcare. And if you are a principled, whatever you want to call yourself, chiropractor that wants to create lifestyle patients, then this is the highest standard in communication to create lifestyle patients in the profession. Thanks, you guys. Love you. I'll see you soon. Looking forward to our relationship.